Good afternoon and welcome to From Where We Are, stories of news and culture through the lens of Southern California and USC. I'm Liam Wadey.
And I'm Sophia Ainsworth. We're coming to you live from Studio B in USC's Annenberg Media Center. It's Thursday, April 3rd, 2025.
On today's show, we dive into the recent stock market crash. Get ready for the Women's Final Four tournament this weekend, get to know some of the a cappella groups on campus, and premiere our third episode of Live from the Halo. All that and more on
From Where We Are. But first, today's headlines.
6 members of the U.S. National Security Council were fired today after President Trump held a meeting that discussed the loyalty of his cabinet members on Wednesday. In the meeting, far-right activist Laura Loomer shared a list of council members who she believed were insufficiently supportive of his goals. Yet, the Trump administration has denied any correlation of firings to the meeting. The NSC is responsible for advising the president on domestic affairs and foreign policy as they pertain to national security. The principal deputy national security advisor, Alex, was not among those terminated, but fears surrounding more dismissals remain high.
The trade war between China and the United States isn't showing signs of slowing down. Today, China's Commerce Ministry vowed that China will retaliate economically against the U.S. if they don't repeal the 34% tariff raise against the country. With tariffs now at 54% in China, Chinese businesses are worried about the impact it will have on imports. Neighboring countries such as Vietnam and Cambodia will also face a tariff increase on goods.
USC Annenberg just announced that actress, producer, and activist Jane Fonda will be the keynote speaker of the spring 2025 commencement speech. The Academy Award-winning actress is best known for her performances in 9 to 5 and Book Club. As an activist, Fonda was outspoken during the Vietnam War and has since become involved with climate activism. The speech will be held May 16th at the Shrine Auditorium.
Get excited because the USC Concerts Committee's annual concert tradition known as Springfest is tomorrow at the LA Memorial Coliseum. This event is highly anticipated as rapper Don Toliver will be headlining. Some of his most popular hits include No Idea, New Drop, and No Pull. The event will extend from 5 to 11 p.m. and will also have food trucks as well as other activities for attendees to engage in. See you there!
And if you're looking for something to do tonight, Downtown Los Angeles Art Night is hosting their monthly event full of creativity, culture, and community at 6 p.m. The free event will have a multitude of art galleries and vendors for visitors to enjoy their Thursday evening. And if you don't have to wake up too early on Friday, there will be a special after party at 9 p.m. The event has an upscale casual dress code, so make sure to dress to impress with your baddies.
Stock market investors woke up to massive drops across the board this morning, and it's likely due to President Donald Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. Will the short-term loss lead to long-term gain? Alex Evans asked market experts for the scoop.
The Dow is down 1,600 points today, or roughly 4%. The Nasdaq 100 is seeing a 6% drop, and the S&P 500 is down roughly 5%. A loss of more than $2 trillion. What does this all mean? The stock market is not doing well. USC MBA candidate Eddie Jones tried to avoid checking his trading portfolio this morning.
I've been purposefully not looking at it because I'm trying to maintain some sanity. Holy God. Jesus. That's not good.
This drop comes after President Trump rolled out partial reciprocal tariffs on foreign imports yesterday. Trump dubbed it Liberation Day. The tariffs are directed at encouraging domestic manufacturing, breaking down foreign trade barriers, and eventually lowering prices for consumers. Not everyone seems to agree. Professor Larry Harris holds the Fred V. Keenan Chair in Finance at the USC Marshall School of Business. Here's what he has to say.
The most credible story for why prices might decrease is that the effect of the tariffs is so draconian that it so lowers the wealth of the country that the decrease in demand causes prices to decrease. Okay, so we can get lower prices if everybody's substantially poorer than they are now. That doesn't make any sense. And they wouldn't be any better off with lower prices because they wouldn't have any money.
Ben Kahn co-hosts a finance podcast called The Ben and Emil Show. He describes just how massive these percentage jumps are.
So to have it be down, it closed down on the day 4.93% on the S&P 500. That's a big drop.
For context, Kahn just had his worst day in trading history. His strategy for the coming weeks is to take it day by day and consider how the trading landscape is changing.
Warren Buffett famously says, never bet against America. My big question is, will that old adage of never bet against America die with him? Because what we're seeing currently is so unprecedented.
Kahn worries that in the long run, these moves will cost the U.S. economy dearly.
America and Trump thinks that we hold all the cards, but since we don't do so much manufacturing here, since we are a services economy, since we are an entertainment economy, we're really not as in a position to call the shots as we might think.
Kahn is unsure as to how long it will take to bounce back from these drops or how international trade will be affected. It's a waiting game as to what Trump does next.
There's definitely room for disruption from other countries banding together and saying, you're not going to bully us like this. And I don't know if we're capable of coming back from that. Who knows how long this will take to recover from.
For Annenberg Media, I'm Alex Evans.
All around the world. To the beach, y'all.
Despite USC's unfortunate exit from the Women's March Madness tournament on Monday, there is still a lot to be excited about in women's basketball, and plenty of people are watching. Nick Charles Curry has the story.
The NCAA Women's Final Four tournament is set to kick off tomorrow as number 1 seeds Texas and South Carolina go head-to-head at 4 p.m. UConn and UCLA are close to follow, with their game starting at 6 p.m. tomorrow night. Stars like UConn's Sarah Strong, Texas's Madison Booker, and South Carolina's Chloe Kitts are set to face off on one of the biggest stages of their careers. Although Trojan fans may be feeling down about the tournament following an Elite Eight exit to the UConn Huskies and a season-ending injury to star player Juju Watkins in the game prior, there's plenty of madness surrounding the tournament. In fact, there's more now than ever before. Last year's tournament saw record numbers when it came to viewership and attendance, primarily due to rising stars like Iowa's Caitlin Clark and LSU's Angel Reese. Now that they're busy causing waves in the WNBA, new stars like Watkins and UConn guard Paige Beckers have taken the reins. ESPN reported the highest women's college basketball regular season viewership since 2009 last season. This year's NCAA women's basketball tournament hasn't reached the same heights as last year's, but still celebrated the second most watched opening round in women's basketball history. Viewership of the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 is up over 30% relative to 2023. UConn's loss to UConn was the third most watched Elite 8 game, but still saw about 3 million viewers, top 10 all-time for the round. UCLA's win over LSU saw 4.4 million viewers, good for the third most in women's Elite 8 history. Hype surrounding women's basketball and the community around the sport has been growing year after year. Viewership numbers aren't quite what they were last year, but they're still helping to set new all-time highs for women's basketball. For Annenberg Media, I'm Nick Charles Curry.
Seems like everybody's got a price. I wonder how they sleep at night when the sale comes first and the truth comes second.
Creating entire bands with just your mouth? Excuse me? Laulu Ratsamia found out more about the a cappella scene at USC.
The USC music scene is bustling. Some Trojans perform in huge symphony orchestras while others get their jam on as a part of loud rock bands. But some create entire arrangements with just one instrument, their mouths.
Beautiful people, are you ready? We've been waiting for so long, so long, so long, so long, so long.
Aka believe it! The a cappella scene at USC is enormous, and enormously popular. There are 10 groups on campus, each specializing in different genres and interests.
When I was coming into USC, I heard that there was a really big a cappella scene here, and I'd also heard that USC's a cappella scene was what Pitch Perfect was based off of, and I was looking to live my Pitch Perfect fantasy.
That was Roy Gantz, a tenor in the SoCal Vocals. The Vocals are the oldest and arguably most popular group at USC. They've competed at the International Championship of Collegiate A Cappella, or ICCAs, and won 5 different times. Though Pitch Perfect isn't actually based off the Vocals, they've definitely impacted the world of collegiate a cappella and the music industry as a whole.
We have amazing alumni that I'd heard about, like Scott Hoying from Pentatonics. Ben Bram does all of their arrangements and is a really big music arranger in the industry. Nina Nelson, just really, really cool people. And I really wanted to be a part of that legacy and that family.
And family is something that many of the groups on campus have in common. Ashley Connor, president of the Troy Tones, said she joined to find just that.
Everyone just goes out of their way to always be there for each other. No matter what the ask is, somebody in that group will have your back. And I just think that I've never had a group of people who were like that for me before. And it was so refreshing coming to college and I don't know, instantly having that insane support system.
Another student group, Reverse Osmosis, is known to have, quote, the purest sound at USC. But it's not all about their sound. One member, Diana Carrington, describes their commitment to putting on a good show.
We are very interactive. We have a couple of members who specifically love to do interactions with the crowd. Some of our members interacted with the crowd and had us sing happy birthday for one of our members, divided the audience into different harmonies and melodies, and it was just a really key moment. We just know how to have a good time.
So whether you're looking for notoriety, a family, or just a good time making music, a cappella at USC may be pitch perfect for you. For Annenberg Media, I'm Lalu Retsimia.
Baby, that's what you do.
Got 2 girls in the cut, and I don't know what to do. I fell in love with you.
I'm Sophia Ainsworth. We're glad you're with us for From Where We Are.
And I'm Liam Wadey. It's 13 minutes past the hour. Coming up, we stop by an immigration journalist panel. Get ready for KXSC Fest and sit down with our live from the Halo performer, McKenna Olson. Stay with us.
I guess it must be festival season around here or something. While the Concerts Committee is hosting Springfest tomorrow, KXSC has its own indie twist. Emily Tsao has the story.
USC's college radio station KXSC announced today it will reprise its music festival, KXSC Fest, for the first time since 2016. The festival will be a celebration of its 50th anniversary, which is set to take place May 9th at the Echo. Alongside headliner LDP, there will be performances from other indie electronic artists, Mia Lowe, Indigo Forever, After, Jordan Patterson, and more. Senior Maya Tauber, the KXSC Street Team co-director, explained how KXSC decided on its featured artists.
Yeah, so we wanted to sort of incorporate the very eclectic taste that our station has and the kind of eclectic mix of the LA area. So it was a lot of a group effort of everyone in the station kind of bringing up artists or bands that we've seen before that we think would be super cool to sort of incorporate and showcase our diverse sort of range and taste in the station.
Street Team co-director Betsy Schmealer, a senior music industry major, emphasized authenticity as an important factor when choosing the artists.
I think just throughout the entire lineup, we really just wanted to choose good people that we just really trust and believe in, and wanted to use our platform to just make it as cool as possible, and not really be defined by any number standards or anything, just really trying to get cool people on the bill.
For Schmealer, it comes down to
a good person, someone that is so willing to put themselves out there and just really use music as inspiration and motivation to lean into yourself and do the things you want to do. I feel like whenever you see someone putting themselves out there, that makes you want to do more.
In addition to live music, there will be tables with other local radio stations as well as alumni of KXSC, many of which are founding members of the organization. They also plan to raffle off gear from various companies they're partnered with.
And you're just going to really get the vibe of what KXSC is all about. We're going to have some other student radio stations tabling, have some raffles, and then just also hearing about from the alumni to hear about the history and what cool sort of stuff we have going on at KXSC. And it's just going to be a super fun time, a super great celebration for the end of the school year and end of finals and everything.
For many in the club, KXSC Fest is a culmination of what they love best: music, community, and college radio.
It means a lot to me. I love college student radio. It has been the highlight of my college career, and to be able to put something on this this large of a scale with such incredible artists and with all my friends, it means so much to me because it shows all the hard work that we've been doing this whole semester, and it's really a showcase of the love and appreciation we have for KXSC and the general music community in Los Angeles.
Tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time and can be found in the bio of their Instagram account at KXSC Radio. For Annenberg Media, I'm Emily Tsao.
This afternoon, Annenberg student journalists got the chance to hear reporting tips from immigration journalists who visited campus. Catherine Contreras Hernandez has the story.
Immigration journalists and other experts shared insights on how to navigate rapidly changing policies under the Trump administration during a panel at Annenberg Hall today.
There's so much that's changing so fast, it's hard to keep up with, even for those of us who follow this.
That's Professor Leslie Bernstein Rojas, who moderated the Immigration 2025 What We Know, What to Expect, and How to Cover It discussion. She mentioned recent developments like Venezuelan immigrants being deported to be jailed in El Salvador and the arrest of student protesters. In the midst of changing immigration policies, panelists talked about protecting and humanizing sources while reporting fairly and accurately. Niels Frenzen, a professor at the USC Gold School of Law Immigration Clinic, believes it's also difficult for students to keep up with it all.
One of the things that has been happening nationwide is universities have been getting notification that visas or other aspects of what an international student is required to maintain in order to be in legal status are being terminated.
In fact, in the middle of the panel, Professor Christina Bellantoni, director of the Media Center, announced she just learned that 8 more students' visas were revoked in Arizona. Events similar to these seem to be happening quickly, and reporting on these stories can be difficult. Rachel Udanga from the LA Times explains something she does when reporting.
The only thing I can do is build trust and relationships, and I think the closer you are to people, the more that you understand about the system and the circumstances that they're in and that you're respectful.
Ryan de los Santos from LAist also shared some tips that may help sources open up.
There's so much misinformation and disinformation that people just get confused about. And that's one step I like to take in conversation with people and hey, do you know about this? Would you want to talk to me about your case or your experience? And we go from there.
Later, Pedro Trujillo, director of organizing for Chirla and a member of the LA Rapid Response Network, also touched on how misinformation about ICE spreads on social media. He mentioned one recent example.
Unfortunately, during the fires here in Pasadena, we were getting calls once the federal government showed up. We were getting calls of people reporting that immigration was in Pasadena. We sent out our trained volunteers to go check it out with their N95 masks because you all know how the air was, the air quality. And it's just that people were mistakenly reporting FEMA vehicles.
He said FEMA is a branch of the Department of Homeland Security, meaning that they carry the same seal that ICE does, which can alarm people if they're already on high alert. Trujillo also reminded journalists to be mindful of their framing when reporting on immigrants.
One of the things that we've noticed is that we're back again seeing some of the reports of immigrants where they are literally photographed in the shadows and using language around, asking about if they're afraid, and the framing is already on that, and to describe their fear and going deeper into that. And it doesn't show the complexities of people.
All the panel stressed seeking out reliable sources. Here is Trujillo again.
We just have to tell folks that we can only protect each other and go to reliable sources, right? And talk and ask your local immigrant rights organization or your local rapid response network to give you some intel that you may use.
One way to reach the Rapid Response Network if you're reporting on immigration and ICE in LA is to reach out to Chirla at info@chirla.org. For Annenberg Media, I'm Catherine Contreras Hernandez.
Earlier today, we sat down with McKenna Olson, another talented artist from our third edition of Live from the Halo. Let's take a listen.
Welcome, McKenna.
Radio.
So I have a few questions for you. The first being, what are some of your earliest memories or most treasured memories of falling in love with music?
I would have to say watching my dad perform, because my dad was in a band when I was little, and he was in a band from college on, and so I grew up going to his performances and concerts, and that was kind of my first introduction to rock or pop music, because I grew up mainly doing musical theater, and then I started songwriting when COVID happened, so that's kind of when I got into more pop music. But
definitely.
And then where do you draw your inspiration from when it comes to your lyrics?
It probably changes all the time. I was mostly inspired to start writing when I discovered Lizzie McAlpine.
Yes.
And then I love Chappell Roan. I have a huge inspiration from Sarah Bareilles. And then I grew up listening to Taylor Swift a lot, so that's naturally ingrained in me. But yeah, that's kind of where I draw most of my inspiration from.
This is a little off course, but do you listen to any Gracie Abrams?
I don't.
No.
I've been told so many times to get into Gracie, and I feel I've tried a couple of times, but I need to really do a deep dive and really listen.
Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations?
Ooh, do you want more happy, more sad? Because most of it is sad.
That's what I've heard. I'm fine with anything.
My favorite song from her is it's about moving away from home, and it's very heartbreaking, but it's called Right Now by Gracie Abrams. That's my absolute favorite song from her. It's incredibly sad, but
I'll have to listen.
I love the lyricism in it.
Yeah.
And our next question is about the song you performed for Live from the Halo, actually. We know that specific song, Almost 20, is about the uncertainty of growing older and maybe the difficulty associated with finding one's place in the world. Who do you hope is able to resonate with this song?
I hope, honestly, anyone of all ages is able to resonate, just because I feel that's a very relatable feeling. No matter what age you are, you have certain expectation when you like hit 30 years old or 50 years old or however old you may be, like of what you're supposed to be in that moment. And for me, that was like transitioning from my teenage years to like my 20s. And now I'm 21. Everything's fine. There's no need to panic. But I think it's a very relatable like topic no matter what age you are.
Yeah, it's very universal.
Yeah.
And we know here at USC, they foster a culture of collaborating with other musicians, especially in the Fordham program. With that said, what have you learned from working with other musicians in the past?
I think to like let your ego go a little bit. Like, always be kind. You never know who's going to be in the room. And so you want to just bring your best self, be prepared all the time, and always just be kind and positive no matter what room you're in, because you never know along the line, like someone may be in so-and-so's band and then they may recommend you for whatever job. So always keeping that in mind.
Yes.
And how do you think your style of music will or could develop as you grow older? Where do you see yourself artistically in terms of genre in the future?
That's difficult because I feel like it changes as I progress, and I never know like what I'm gonna be writing next. But I definitely love like folk music. I can see myself sticking with that for quite a while, and just like acoustic pop, because that's mostly like what I resonate with, and I think what my voice best suits. But yeah, who knows? I'm open to like any genre, really.
Yeah. And you said that you don't really know where you're going until you've started it. How do you approach the songwriting process?
It's different every time. Sometimes I'll start with a lyric. I'll like be outside just wandering around and I'll see something that kind of inspires me. I'll go to my piano or my guitar and just like strum a few chords and start humming over them, and then seeing what words kind of fit in with that. So it's a different approach every time, but I kind of just take it as I go, and sometimes I'll like map out the chords first and then fill in the lyrics, or vice versa. So it's really a different process every time.
That's interesting.
Very cool.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
For today's episode of Live from the Halo, McKenna Olson performed her song, Almost 20.
Almost 20. I've done nothing but think about what I'm gonna do. Soon I'll be 21 and still won't have done enough. Oh, what the hell am I supposed to do? When will the charm of being young be overdue? Will I find myself without a purpose, never swimming past the surface? I always thought that I'd have figured out by now, but somehow 19 years have come and gone. I feel like my life hasn't even begun. I'm almost 20. My mom says life is at my door, and no one's knocking. I know less than I did
Thank you.
Once again, that was Almost 20 by McKenna Olson. You can catch the full performance again on YouTube at Annenberg Media.
Pull down in the wintertime. Car top, but you feeling mine. Bad, bad. Get it on. Yeah. Just get it on. 2 doors open, I'm in and out.
And that's all we have time for on today's From Where We Are. Daishalyn Satcher executive produced today's show. Jack Waterman produced today's show. We had help from Katie Van Arman and Sana Memu.
Our coach is Mallory Cara. Our audio director is Leslie Bearstein Rojas. Sam Bittman runs our soundboard. Will Gwynn is our live stream manager. And Derek Renfro composed our theme music.
Catch us live on YouTube at Annenberg Radio News Monday through Thursday at 5 p.m. Subscribe to From Where We Are, wherever you're listening right now, and follow us on Instagram at Annenberg Radio. I'm Liam Wadey.
And I'm Sophia Ainsworth. From all of us at Annenberg Radio, wherever you are, we hope you'll join us again for From Where We Are.
So, Sophia, are you going to go to Springfest tomorrow?
You know, I might pull up, hop out at the after party.
Because we know you and all your friends love to get naughty.
No, but
Just
for
kidding,
real,
y'all.
I do hope that Don Dolver plays after party. What about you?
I just hope to show up because I have work, so hopefully they let me out early. Free me, y'all.